It seems like there is not a single week that Facebook hasn't done something to attract attention the past month. Today we'll be talking about whistleblowers, about down services, and I wonder, all this thing is happening because Facebook owns all of these services or because of this guy?
You're not an asshole, Mark. You're just trying so hard to be.
Blech. So last Monday, all of Facebook's apps were down for almost 6 hours. Then on Tuesday, Facebook's whistleblower Haugen testified before the US Senate, and oh boy, that was interesting. And then Instagram announced that they will be retiring IGTV, so naturally, we're only going to be talking about Facebook this week. Okay, so let's take things from the top. Last Monday at around 11:40 AM EST time, Facebook, Instagram, Oculus and WhatsApp were down for what seems like an eternity. If you haven't heard of it, probably you are one of the lucky people who live in East Asia, because that happened during the night time here. Bali saves me again. And you can't realize the size of the problem until you realize how many businesses rely on Facebook for communicating with their clients, taking orders and generating income. Not only that, but the Facebook account is a method of authentication for many services outside the Facebook family. So what does this mean? The fucking world is relying on Facebook to work, especially developing countries who predominantly use it. In the top 10 countries using Facebook, the only developed country is the US, and the next one comes on the 13th place with the UK. Of course, the UK felt the blow as well, as little Timmy can testify.
Oh boy, I'm delighted to play with my friends some Oculus. I'll message them on Facebook. What? Facebook not working? Well, surely on WhatsApp or Instagram? Nothing? Oh Mark, you nincompoop, why do you hate me so? Oh well, Oculus by myself then. What? Even Oculus is gone? No!
That's why a Greek should never try to imitate a British accent. Will that stop me from trying again? Hell no! So back to the important news. In conclusion, Facebook plays a big part in the economy of many countries and many businesses rely on it. And do you know which is the biggest business that relies on Facebook for communication? Facebook! The issue took so long to resolve because employees couldn't access their internal documents, internal communication, and in some cases even enter the building. Research after the issue was finally resolved indicated that routine maintenance caused issues in the communications of Facebook data centers. So the issue was resolved, but not without leaving the bitter taste of the dependency the planet has on Facebook, which makes the next story even more painful to bear. But before that, let me know in the comments below, were you or your business affected by the incident? Where were you when it happened? At work, in the toilet, in a manhole, inside out? Let me know. So we all know that big evil companies focus too much on profit, and sometimes in their pursuit of that profit they might break the law or do some very questionable things. And Facebook is one of these companies which has kind of a questionable ethical compass. But even knowing that, what you're about to hear is a little bit hard to swallow. Last month, Haugen, a former employee on Facebook, filed an anonymous complaint with the federal law enforcement. The complaint stated that Facebook is aware that their platform is promoting hate, political unrest, and misinformation, but the company chooses to not address it if it goes against their company's growth. Just before Frances testified in Congress, she revealed her identity on the 60-minute show, and this is what she said.
The thing I saw at Facebook over and over again was there were conflicts of interest between what was good for the public and what was good for Facebook. And Facebook over and over again chose to optimize for its own interests, like making more money. The version of Facebook that exists today is tearing our societies apart and causing ethnic violence around the world.
Wow, that's a huge statement. According to Haugen, the platform that my grandma is using to watch kitten videos is the same platform which is responsible for the genocide in Myanmar in 2018. Do you see the controversy with these two pictures? And again, big companies doing everything for profit is not something new. Amazon, massive company, massive financial implications, in the center of criticism all the time. But unlike Facebook, Amazon is only responsible for the economy, not the economy and the news and shaping the public opinion. And when you take that into consideration, the next statement is very hard to bear.
And one of the consequences of how Facebook is picking out that content today is that it is optimizing for content that gets engagement, a reaction. But its own research is showing that content that is hateful, that is divisive, that is polarizing, it's easier to inspire people to anger than it is to other emotions. Facebook has realized that if they change the algorithm to be safer, people will spend less time on the site, they'll click on less ads, they'll make less money.
Okay, let me break this down to you. Hate brings more money. An organization with 3 billion active users chooses to not monitor hate because they produce more profit for the company. What this means for you is that every time you go and scroll on your feed, you are more likely to see posts that make you angry and upset. Is this why you go on social media? So what is the solution here? According to Haugen, Facebook wants people to believe that these are unsolvable problems, but she believes that there is the technology and they have the means to address them. I know that Twitter is beta testing a feature that will warn users of heated conversations before they engage. So with my humble non-scientific brain, I believe that certain measures can be taken. And at least not dividing people and causing ethnic cleansing, goddammit. And if that doesn't work, maybe prescribed anger management therapy for the whole planet. Now we'll have to wait and see if new regulations will be implemented and if Facebook will be held liable. But I want to hear your thoughts. How do you feel after finding out that the platform is not protecting you against hate speech? Will you change the approach on social media after that knowledge? Have you watched Haugen's interview? What are your thoughts? Final news for today, and no genocides this time. Instagram is retiring IGTV. As Adam Mosseri said, this is part of Instagram's effort to simplify the platform a bit. It's no secret that with all the new features being introduced throughout the years, Instagram is a little bit messy. So alongside stories, reels and shopping, IGTV will be gone and give its place to Instagram videos. They didn't get very creative with the name, but they used all of their creativity here. Check this out. With this change, IGTV ads will now be called Instagram in-stream video ads. I challenge you to say that fast 3 times. One of the benefits of this change is video previews in feed will now be 60 seconds long, making for an overall better user experience. Also, the way you view videos will change, but I'll let Adam tell you about that.
So a few improvements this week. The first, and I think the most important, is that if you tap anywhere on a video and feed, it'll take you into a full screen viewer. And from there you can actually swipe and view more video if you're interested, or go back to feed.
The takeaway from this move is that Facebook is following the same pattern with all their platforms. They test 1 million new features and then they scale back a bit. We had the same thing happen to Facebook Messenger. Personally, I believe that all Facebook platforms need a bit of a cleanup. Facebook Business Manager is messy, Instagram is messy. So if they keep this up, I believe that in the next 5 years, we're gonna have a much neater customer experience and a more efficient platform. And of course, I want to hear your thoughts on that change. Have you been using IGTV? How do you think this change will affect you? Is there any other feature on Instagram that you believe needs a little bit of a tidy up? Let me know in the comments below. And that concludes our news for this week. Share this video because it's very important that content creators understand these updates on Facebook, and subscribe so you will not miss the important news of next week. And I'll see you next time.